say when you come to stand, try not to fix yourself. Just be exactly as you are in this moment. We're all so wonderfully unique in every second. We have such a dance happening in our bodies. So wherever you are, just be so compassionately present with yourself. And for me, I notice I put my hand on my heart instantly in those moments, just having this sense. So if you feel to do that, absolutely do. And just stand. Maybe that's the first few seconds of quiet you've had all day. And let your body just simply listen. Let yourself feel deeply, dropping down from the mind. And into the shoulders. Notice your head, your neck, your arms. Notice if there's any movement in your rib cage, your belly, your torso. Notice the whole length of your spine, from the space between your eyes, above your eyes, behind your eyes, the space where the spine begins. And just see if you can imagine this floating line in the center of your body. And as we feel into the body and we practice this over weeks, we become more attuned. And we can sometimes notice that even though we're sensing this imaginary line, we can actually sense a dance of it, like it squiggles or it curves or it bends in some way. And just let that intuition be there. Whatever your perspective of the spine is, no matter how abstract or artistic it is, it's all welcome. It's the body way of communicating is through imagery. Just notice, how do you perceive your spine today? Because it will be very different another day. Is there a color? Maybe you have to pause somewhere, or maybe the line gets faded, or you can't imagine it. Just pause anywhere you need and just wait the body to connect the dots. And then imagine the base of your spine like a pendulum or a string with a weight on the bottom of it. As if your spine is just finding its equilibrium. And as you breathe, can you sense your body breathing around your spine? Lungs, the ribs, the muscles expanding, circulation. And as you release, just feeling softening that happens all around the spine. The spine stays center of everything. And then towards the base of the spine, we have the pelvis. From there, the legs. And when you think about your legs and your arms just dangling, even though you're standing, the sense of dangling as if you're sitting on a tall bench and there's room for your legs to swing. And even just that imagery, Where does that imprint on the body? And from where you are, just notice how your weight may be slightly forward on the foot. Maybe the weight is more in the right or the left foot. And whatever you're noticing in your body, try not to place any judgment on it. And think of your body like a drawing, as if you were coloring in different parts. What color would your knees be? Maybe one knee is feeling like it has a very different personality to the other knee. So rather than naming it or giving it a judgment, give it a color. Or maybe there's somewhere else in your body that is a little bit busy, perhaps, or distracting. What color would that be? And again, dropping all names or judgments, just let your body now empty to the floor like a blank slate, sieving all the colors down. And we're going to slowly come to lie down. So just come to lie down on your mat or your blanket. And as you come to rest on the floor, just as you did standing, just come to lie on your back. And for the beginning, let your legs be long. And with your legs long, just notice your imprint on the ground as if you're lying on a warm beach. And notice if the weight of the body is pressing down more on the right or the left side. And do you feel your upper body more than your lower body? And then ever so slowly, get a sense of your whole right leg. Draw a line from your right hip to your right ankle to your right heel. And then draw a line from your left hip all the way down to the heel of your left foot. And allow these two lines to link up with the line of the spine. And then sense a line from your right shoulder to your right wrist, down into your fingers, this line spreading. And then the left arm, sense that line. And just sense all the parts of yourself that extend from the center line of the spine and the limbs. From the top of the spine, extending to create your face, the dome of your skull, back of your head, jaw, teeth, all of your sensory organs. And as you feel your body on the floor now, just slowly bring your awareness to your big toes. And gradually and slowly let your two big toes roll towards each other. And then let them roll away back to where they began. Nice and slow. Think of your two legs as rolling pins. And you're not dividing the leg into parts. You're moving the whole leg as one, from hip to heel. Everything rolls in and out. One more time in. And then arriving out, just relax. And I want you to imagine the next movement. Imagine your left leg rolling out. Your left leg rolls outwards. The knee bends out to the side and the foot slides up. And then the foot slides back down and the knee lengthens and the leg rolls back in. So your leg would be imagining that your leg is rolling out, the knee bends, the foot goes out to this up, and the knee goes out to the side, just like a tree pose in yoga. And then you would slide the leg long away from you. So we're just imagining this movement first, and we're just censoring this pre-movement that happens in the body. And sometimes it's hard to do this, and we just want to get going into moving. So just try imagining it for a moment. And this is warming up your sensory perception and your neural connections in your body. So it's a really good exercise just to imagine something rather than physically doing it. And then slowly have a nice in breath. And on your out breath, roll that leg out, bend the knee, and sense the leg sliding up. And just physically explore this rotation of the hip joint. And again, roll the leg out, bend the knee out to the side, and then lengthen it. And it's not about doing the movement exactly the same as me or anyone else. It's about just exploring this in your body. So we're never copying or following the screen. You're just following the verbal direction. So rolling the leg out, bend the knee out to the side, the foot slides up, and then you reverse. You slide the leg long and it rolls back in. And the next time you do this, you're going to just relax the leg when it comes back down, and we're simply going to go to the other side. So roll your right leg out to the side, bend your right knee out to the side, and then reverse. Slide your leg long. And just repeat that nice and slowly. And as you do this, I want you to notice, where do you feel this movement in your body? Can you feel where it begins? You feel that sense of a connection maybe from your lower abdomen to your leg. And then one last time, rolling the leg, bending the knee, and this time bring the knee to stand so that you have your right foot on the ground. And just rest there for a moment with your right foot on the ground. And in that position now, you're going to very slowly lift the toes of the right foot. So nice and slow, just peel just your toes off the floor, not the ball of the foot. Just try and keep it just the toes, and then the toes plant back down. So everything else is as it is, but it's just the toes peeling up towards the ceiling and slowly coming down. Just explore that for yourself, your toes coming up and your toes planting down. And then rest your toes. And now press through the ball of the foot and lift your heel. We'll keep the ball of the foot down and then slowly bring the heel down. And rest in between, nice and slow. The heel comes off and the heel comes down. Slowly up with the heel and slowly down. And one more time, heel comes up and then slowly move through your foot and rest for a moment. Breathing in now, press through all of the foot, that it's just slightly pressing into the floor. So maybe you are pressing just 2% more. So pressing down into the floor, and just feel as you press into the floor, notice that your knee goes slightly forwards away from you. And then release the press. Pressing into the floor, get a sense of your leg moving away from you slightly, and then release. And one more time, this time pressing into the floor 10%, so that bit more, and let your knee track away from you slightly. And as the knee goes forward, it may feel a lift of the right pelvis away from the floor, which turns your pelvis. And then as you come back down, the pelvis rests. So in the somatic movement, we're always coming in and out of something, we're not holding it. So as I press my foot into the floor, my knee tracks forward, my hip lifts away from the ground, and my pelvis turns, and then everything comes back. And rest. And then from where you are now, we're going to come back to the awareness of the toes, and you're going to simply lift your toes, plant your toes, then lift your heel, plant your heel, toes and heel, and slowly practice this. You are completely relaxed on the ground, eyes closed, and the whole point of this is that you're drawing this awareness from your brain to your feet. So this is an inner workings. It's really not about the physical expression or the movement. It's about you connecting and understanding. So the toes couldn't be are the furthest point away from your brain, right? So we're really practicing this coordination in the body. So toes up, toes down, and then the heel is this opposition. Okay, and finish the one you're on. And then let the knee drop out to the side and lengthen your leg away. Rest. As some of you would know from somatic movements previously, that when we work on one part of the body, we often feel it in a different part. And so when we work with the feet, often we can feel a release in the pelvis. Sometimes the ankles are very connected with the wrist, for example. So just don't keep listening to your body, feel into that whole area, all that may be happening. Now, coming to your other leg, your left leg, slowly let your left leg roll out to the side, bend the knee and let the knee come to the ceiling so that your foot comes to standing. And just rest with the foot on the ground. If you found in the last time that it was hard to coordinate with your ankle and the lift of your heel and your toes, maybe bring your foot a little closer in towards your hips. And have a nice breath. And as you exhale, just feel your body relaxing into the floor. Breathe in. And as you exhale, peel your toes up and slowly release your toes down. Take your time, peel your toes up and release your toes down. And just do this in your own time. Going as slow as is comfortable for you, the slower the better. And it's very normal when we slow down and bring our awareness to our movement that we can yawn a lot. So if that is happening for you, that's your nervous system letting go, releasing stress, and just sighing with thanks that it has the time to catch up on itself, to rest, to restore. And then the next time the toes come down, allow the toes to stay down and let the heel come up and the heel slowly come down. Nice and slow. If you find you have tightness in your calves or maybe a little spasm in your foot, it means you're doing too much. So really just do even 5%. Try doing less. Rather than lifting your full heel or going as high as you can go, what if you just went high enough that a sheet of paper could slide in between your heel and the floor? Try that. As you do that, as you do less, what can happen is it may trigger a shake in the muscle that connects in with the legs where they connect with the spine. So go super slow and then super slow down. Slower the better. Allows you to listen to your body. And then one more of these. And then as your foot rests on the floor now, relax your whole foot and just as if there was grass under your foot, just press your foot into the ground, just a small bit, and then release. And just a small bit now, so your knee and your pelvis isn't changing too much, but you're just feeling this engagement, this connection through your leg. How this intention of just pressing 1% more can change so much of your experience. And then the next time pressing 10% more into the foot and maybe even 20% more, that the knee tracks forward away from you. Maybe your lower back on that side moves away from the floor, your hip, your pelvis, the top of your leg, and then everything comes back down. So as I press through my foot, my knee goes slightly forward, my pelvis lifts away from the floor, and I turn slightly through my body because one side is lifted. And then I slowly come back down. My knee returns to facing upwards towards the ceiling. And as you do this, please notice your breath. Are you breathing in? Are you holding your breath? Can you be really aware of how your breath connects to your movement? As you press down into the foot and the pelvis comes away from the floor, are you breathing in or out? And as you release back down, what are you doing? Just one or two more. Good. And then from here, let the knee drop out to the side, slide your leg long. And with the legs long, just notice already, is there anything new that you feel or sense within yourself? Noticing the curve of your lower back as it moves away from the floor, your shoulder blades in contact with the ground. And then ever so slowly, allow yourself one leg at a time to slide the knee out to the side, the foot to stand. So bringing both legs into this position with the feet standing, the knees pointed up towards the ceiling. And there's space between your feet, they're hip distance apart. And with both feet on the floor now, just notice how it is to press both feet down, just that 1 or 2%, this very subtle press of the feet into the floor. And release and come out of it, come in and out of it, a little press, 1%, just like you're flattening the grass, and then release. Notice what happens. Do you feel a connection to your core, to your abdomen? And can you do less and still feel that connection? Can you press less? Can you do less, but still feel a connection from your feet to your abdomen, to your core, to the muscles of your back and your waist? And then relax. And now bring your awareness to your lower back, noticing the curve of your back. Noticing the difference on the two sides. And now press into your feet and notice if your back would like to curve away from the floor in an arch, or does it prefer to flatten? And then let your spine move through neutral and then go the other direction. So you're allowing your spine to press down into the floor, to relax in neutral, and then feeling your belly button raised towards the ceiling as the spine arches away from the floor. Nice and slow. And as you do this movement of the spine, can you feel what happens through your feet? Can you stay connected to your legs? As you press your spine down into the earth, do your legs press that 2% more? And then from where you are, just rest and think about your two hips at the top of both legs. And imagine you're balancing a bowl of water here. And I want you to just pour the water off to the right side. So the hip of the right side is allowing this bowl of water to pour in one direction without moving your knees. How can you do this just through the hips? And then bring that bowl of water back to center and then pour the bowl of water to the left side without moving your knees. So that you have to engage from the pelvis, from the abdomen. So one hip maybe slides and presses into the floor, and then everything comes back to center, and then the other hip presses down, and your hips are staying on the ground, or the back of the pelvis, the sacrum, lower back. You're still connected with the floor, but you're doing this very subtle tilt of the pelvis. So it tilts, it slides one way like a seesaw, comes back to neutral, and it slides the other way. And you're trying to isolate the pelvis and not move the legs. So in this way, you're moving your pelvis around your legs. Whereas before, you're moving your legs around your pelvis. And one last one, come back to center and relax. Draw that imaginary line up from the end of your spine, through your sternum, up to the space between your eyes, and just sense this line through the body. And now you're going to take your hands and you're going to bring them into a steeple position. So the steeple position is the hands pressed together and they're pointed upwards towards your ceiling, above your heart. And in this position, press your shoulder blades down into the ground. Keep your arms straight, don't bend your elbows. And ever so slowly now, bring your hands over to the left a little. And then bring them back to center. Bring your hands to the right a little. Nice and slow, and back to center. And let's stay with one side. Let's just go to the left. Just go to the left. And then come back to center. Do this a few times. Just go to the left. And slowly come back to center. And go ever so slow and feel what's happening as your hands are moving over to the left side. What's happening to the left shoulder blade, the right shoulder blade? Is there any movement in your head or your neck? As you move the arms, it will move the chest, which will move the neck and maybe the head. So allow your head and your neck to move. One more time, going over to the left, and just get a sense of how far is comfortable for you to go without bending the arms and keeping the hands glued together. So your palms are together, touching. And then slowly bring it back. Relax your shoulder blades into the ground. Breathe in, relax. And then slowly let your hands explore the right side. So bring them slowly to the right. As soon as your elbows start to bend, you've gone too far. So only go as far as your elbows can stay straight. So the point of it is that you can only go so far. And just notice bring your over to the right side. Does the head go in the same direction or does it go the opposite direction? And if your head's not moving, to move with your hands, let's all do that first. Head, as you head in and out of it. Your head is going in the same direction as your arms go to the right. Keep your breath comfortable, whatever works for you. And then the next time you move, let the arms go to the right, but let the head go to the left. And everything comes back to center together. Nice and slow. The arms are going to the right. The head is going to the left. And one last one. Go super slow. And so the movement is in the upper body. The lower body is not moving so much. But if you feel the ripple effect down your hips, that's good. And then come back to center. And now just let yourself do whatever feels good. Let your arms go to the right and let your head do whatever it wants. And do finish the one you're on, and then bring your arms back to center. Drop your hands and relax. Let your hands rest over your heart or out to the side. And just breathe. And so with your arms relaxed, just notice, are you sensing more of your shoulder blades in contact with the floor now? Let the front of your chest soften and melt. And then ever so slowly, take your hands together and bring them back up into the steeple position with the hands glued together, the elbows straight. And this time, rather than going to one side, we're going to make a very small circle. So your hands are going to just draw a circle in the air. Maybe there's something on your ceiling that you can imagine that you're drawing around. So very slowly, allow the hands to draw a tiny circle on your ceiling while keeping the fingers together. And notice what's happening through your spine, your back, your hips, your shoulders. As you circle your arms to one side, do you feel the weight of your hips and your shoulder blades maybe counterbalancing by going the other direction? And then let that circle spiral. So as you circle your arms, let it grow a little bigger, an outward spiral. And then from the outward spiral, reverse, change direction. And as you do this, think about the imprint, the circle you're drawing on the floor, through your shoulder blades, perhaps through your lower back. Your hips maybe are moving, maybe your knees are moving. And maybe your head is still because you're so focused. And then come back into center and rest, and just keep your hands as they are, but feel your shoulder blades relax into the floor. And ever so slowly now, the hands are together, elbows straight. Just bring your hands upwards as if they're going to go above your head, but they'll only go so far because your elbows are straight. And then slowly bring the elbows back to where they began. So you're just allowing the hands to go behind you to wherever feels comfortable. And then slowly bring the hands back up to the ceiling. Slow down. As you do this, please notice what happens to your spine as your hands go slightly overhead. Does your spine arch or flatten? Do you inhale or exhale? Maybe you notice one side of your hips engage or a foot engage. Try and notice anything that's happening in your body and allow this awareness to be informative for you. As the arms go back, enjoy whatever direction the spine moves. Typically, it will be an arch of the back as the hands go backwards, and as the hands come back to center above your heart, maybe you like to flatten your spine, you feel it come back into more neutral position. And one more. And just notice on your last one, how does your head move? So as the hands move, we notice what way the spine moves, But how does the head move? So as my hands go overhead, does my chin go down into my chest? And as my hands come back over my heart, does my chin move back into neutral? So notice the dance of your head, finishing the one you're on. And then bring the hands down to the chest and have a rest. Let your arms be wherever is comfortable for you. Melt front of the body, relax any tension in the front of the shoulders, the back of the shoulders. Just notice how you feel. And then slowly bring the hands back together, bring everything back up towards the ceiling, straight elbows, hands together. And this time we're going to go downwards. So towards your little finger direction. So downwards towards your toes. So long arms, the hands come down as if they're chopping wood. And then the arms come back up towards the heart. Only go as far as is comfortable. The head is relaxed. It's only the arms moving downwards. And just notice again what happens inside of yourself. What's happening to your spine as you do this? What's happening to your pelvis? Can you feel your tailbone moving up and down, which means that your pelvis will curl in one direction, your lower back will flatten, and then as the arms go the other direction, your pelvis will arch away from the floor. What about your feet? Are they balanced? Is one foot doing similar to the other? And then adding in the awareness of the head. As the hands come down, does your chin move upwards above the horizon as if it's looking up towards the ceiling or the wall behind you? And as your head moves back, does it come into neutral? And the next time that you bring the hands down, slow down, feel the contact of your body with the floor, and then really slowly come back up towards the heart. And now this time add in the previous movement. So you're going upwards. So you're going in the two directions now, above and slowly down through the middle and down towards your knees. And go slow. As you do this, anywhere that you feel any pain or pressure or discomfort, then you've gone too far. So please listen into your body. It's always better to imagine something rather than to physically do it if it doesn't feel comfortable. And it's better to do 10% of the movement rather than going to 100%. So please go slow. And think about the line of the spine that we talked about earlier. Can you imagine the line of your spine moving? What color would it be now? What pattern would it be making? And just enjoy one more round of movement. And as you do this, notice your head. As your arms are up, does your head go down, chin into chest? It could be the opposite for you. And as your arms go down, do you feel like you're looking upwards? So notice your habit. So let your arms go one way and just notice what way your head goes. And then the next time you move through center, you're going to do the opposite. So if you were doing the opposite to your arms with your head, then next time you're going to do the same as your arms. So maybe that means doing the same So if my arms go overhead, I look upwards slightly. My head is still on the ground. My chin is lifted away from my chest. And then as I come back into the middle, everything goes into neutral. And then as my arms go down, I look down as if I'm looking at my toes. And just explore this one direction for now. So your eyes, your head is following your hands just to where it's comfortable. And as you do this, feel the backs of the shoulders and the hips and the spine and the feet moving with you. And you're doing the same as your hands. And then next time you come through center, explore doing the opposite. So as your hands go down, your head looks up. Your head is still on the floor, it's just rolling on the ground. And as your hands move upwards, your chin goes downwards, looking towards your toes. And just notice everything, all of the architecture of the body that is supporting this movement. And feel the beautiful contact of your body with the floor, rolling into the earth, feeling the grounding that this is offering you. And just one last movement and then finish where you are. Finish by coming into neutral, into the middle. And just notice what was the most comfortable way for you to do this. Did you prefer to do the opposite of your hands or the same? And as you come into neutral, just let the hands relax on your body or out to the sides. Let your shoulder blades and your hips and your feet rest. And then ever so slowly slide your hands so that they come behind your head. Interlace your fingers underneath the back of your head. Breathe in, feel your spine arch. And as you exhale, bring your elbows up until they're facing the ceiling and they maybe lift your head slightly away from the floor. And then slowly let your elbows go out to the side and rest back on the floor. So it's a very small movement. Elbows come up. You don't have to lift your head, just let the elbows come up. Maybe your head comes off the floor and then let your elbows go out and slow it down. Coordinate this movement that your elbows move together. Just enjoy that movement. Elbows come up. Feel what happens to your spine here. Does your lower back press down? And then as your elbows go out, feel how your spine, your shoulder blades do something different. Maybe you feel your spine arch. Just enjoy this once more. And as the elbows come up now, press through the feet and feel your back press down into the floor. And then slowly as you release out, just enjoy a little arch of your lower back and your upper back. And one last one, press through the feet, elbows come up, head, chin into chest perhaps. And slowly, slowly release. Feel the shoulder blades on the ground. Relax your arms, relax your legs. Relax your whole body. If you liked your hands on your chest earlier, you could always let your hands just rest there and help release the soul from the front of the body. And just notice now, how do you feel? Notice your body in contact with the floor. Is there more of you in contact with the floor than earlier? Do you feel a bit longer? Come back to that imagery of the spine. Imagining your spine from the center of your forehead. Imagine the line of the spine all the way down your hips, And how is that line of the spine now? Color would it be? What pattern would it have? Notice your breath. How is your breathing now? Are you more aware of it? Notice your shoulder blades, lower back. Are you more comfortable now lying with your legs long? And now notice the line of your arms, your right arm from your neck to your right fingers, from the neck down to the shoulder, down to the elbow, to the wrist of your left arm. And then where the spine connects in with the legs, going down the right leg and the left leg. And just notice how you are, if there is a more expanded sense of your health. And how is your breath? And then ever so slowly curl up onto one side of your body. And even as you curl up and you move your head, maybe you notice that there's a little ease in the neck, the shoulders, the head. And having done that movement and connection through the spine, even curling up in the ground, maybe you feel a little more agility to curl in as tight as is comfortable for you. And from that curled up ball, you're going to eventually press your hands into the floor, keep your chin into your chest, and use your arms and your legs to help you to come into a seated position. And keep your head relaxed. Keep your chin in towards your chest. Try not to lift your head. And then keeping your head downward facing, slowly make your way to, and as you stand and you want to stay longer on the floor or you prefer to sit, just let yourself. You're going to just differences in your body. And when you come to stand, just let the line of the arms relax and just feel the weight through the legs. Is your weight placement different? Maybe before it was more on one foot or forwards or backwards. And then get a sense of your heels, and above your heels, you have your hips, and above your hips, your shoulders, and above your shoulders, your ears. Just notice your posture now, if it feels more connected, if you feel perhaps a little taller. And ever so slowly, just let your shoulders and your head and your neck just turn to one side. And then let everything come back. And keeping your legs still, just turn your upper body. So you're just looking now to the other direction. Your side, turn, shoulder has to go back and one shoulder has to go forwards. And then just allow your turn to go from side to side and maybe even swinging your arms. And just feel the mid back, little sense of feeling freer, more connected to this of your focused on shoulder blades and creating space through the back of the body. Center towards your ceiling, and then look slowly down towards your floor. And as you do this movement and your eyes are moving up and then something to look, you notice what's happening through your spine, just like the spine moved on the floor and the head followed. Now the head is leading, and how is the spine following? As you look up, do you sense your spine arching? As you look down, do you sense your spine rounding? And then come to neutral, finding that middle ground, not looking up, not looking down, neutral with your gaze, and also neutral with your spine. Just notice how that feels so that you can find this place throughout time. You'll be feeling a little discomfort. How can I come back to this neutral place? And slowly just take a last moment to just simply breathe. Just feel yourself connecting in with this trunk of your body, and from the trunk growing down into the roots through your legs and into the floor, spreading your roots, thinking of your arms as loose, gentle branches, and the crown of your head lifting high to the sky. And slowly just allowing that sense of hopefully presence and grounding to stay with you for the rest of your morning whenever you're doing this practice. Keeps the rootedness through your legs and flexibility. So, namaste. I hope you enjoyed that practice and you find it beneficial. The rest of your take that with you. Thanks for being here. And of course, just doing a little check in if you want to share anything, any questions you may have, any feedback, feel you are left with. Did you notice that you were yawning? I saw a few yawns on the camera.